A deal to avert another government shutdown appears close, but will Trump sign it? Los Angeles. A small bipartisan group of lawmakers plans to work through the weekend to craft a government spending deal in hopes of averting another partial shutdown by February 15, but it's far from certain President Trump will sign the deal. The group of Republicans and Democrats from both the House and Senate hopes to sign off on an agreement by Monday. That would give the full. I am cautiously optimistic, but we'll find out over the weekend, said Republic Henry Cuellar. The plan is expected to provide money for physical barriers along the border, but not a wall as Trump has envisioned. And it is expected some of the negotiators, including Cuellar, are heading to Camp David at the White House's invitation this weekend to continue the talks. Both Republican and Democratic members of the group say they're close to an agreement. And across Capitol, in this situation, there is no appetite on either side of the aisle, and I think in either chamber, for another partial government shutdown. Republic Chuck Fleischman. Lawmakers on Friday refused to release many details of the plan coming together, cautioning that negotiators are working well together and they don't want to spoil the good faith. The deal is all but the president. Republicans want some form of physical barriers. It's just, if the group is able to reach a deal, it would need to be approved by Congress and signed by the president. Besides opposition from some conservatives pushing for more wall money, some liberals may not accept the final product. Some Democrat, Republic Alexandria. Any compromise would almost certainly fund those agencies. Ocasio Court. In some ways, the political battle to come may be based on semantics over the definition of wall. A Republican's Cuellar, whose district is along the border, is pushing for levee walls. You have dirt mounds. You put cement on. Lawmakers say the White House has been involved in the committee talks and suggest they expect Trump will sign on to a deal if it is approved by Congress. But just 2 months, at the end of the day, we want the president to be able to sign this, said House Minority Leader Kevin McCarthy. Bakersfield. So we will work to. White House Principal Deputy Press Secretary Hogan Gidley said Friday morning we're on the verge of a government shutdown again because Democrats want to come to the table and have a conversation about securing the country. But he later said, the latest threat of a government shutdown came after a record-long 35-day partial shutdown that stemmed from Trump's demand for a wall along the southern border. It ended January. At the beginning of the shutdown, Trump asked for $5.7 billion for the border wall. Democrats have Trump has said that if Congress doesn't provide money for the wall, he may declare a national emergency and divert funds from other places. Times staff writer Noah Bierman contributed to this report.
Raindrop, drip, drop top, top smoking, no cooking the hot pot. Fucking on your bitch, yeah, that.